So the other assignment that you guys have to do is the project setup for your final. Should be a pretty straightforward, where am I going? Pre-prod 4. Let me relabel this, project setup. So this should be a pretty straightforward assignment. Literally all you need to do for this is set up your Maya project file structure and then throw like an initial scene with your image planes and all of that stuff in and positioned appropriately. So I'm going to add the video from last week about how to set up your image planes, because it's pretty much the same dealio, and I go over that already. But, like I said, all you really need to do is, if you don't have a folder created already, go to Project Window, make a new project, and just call this, Final Object, or whatever you want to name it, something better than this. Pick a location for this, and then just go ahead and hit Accept. Once you do that, you want to make sure that you go in and you set your... shoot, I actually just made that. Gross. You go in and you set your project to Fina Bladesklivdiv. Just click into that folder, go ahead and set it, and then that's at what the point you would want to start going in and saving your, importing your image planes, doing all that stuff, and saving like the first draft of your scene. And just another quick review of the project folder setup. Any of the scenes, or like the Maya files you have, the MA files, should be saved in the scenes folder. Please do use these Maya ASCII files, or MA files, instead of Maya binary. They're just, again, better overall. They're a little bit larger to store, but they're more editable if something gets, corrupted or anything like that. So that's the sort of standard and what I'll expect. I usually will take off points if you include binary files, so please make sure that all your stuff is saved in the ASCII format in the scenes folder. Apart from that, your source images, so like any orthographics or anything, should be in the source images folder. And then images is reserved for any kind of renders that you'll do. Actually, for this class, you probably don't need any of these other folders. So you have a few options there. If you want, you can go into, hang on, just drag the file structure over, teaching stuff, where am I going? I have so many folders, sorry guys. Okay, so you can go in if you want, and if you don't need these folders, you can just go in and literally just delete them until all you have is the images, scenes, and source images folder. The other thing you can do is, folder sample. Okay, that's a terrible, terrible folder name. This is actually usually how I make my projects. I'm lazy. I will just manually add in all of the folders that I need. Source images, and then images. And then I'll just go in and set my project to this folder, and you're pretty much good to go. One thing that I also want to note is that whenever you set your project, it makes this little mel file. This is just a thing that Maya does to like track where the project is set up. Don't worry about it. Maya will just generate this. You don't need to include it with anything. It's just sort of floating in there. You will notice that there's not one in this folder sample that I made. But if we go and we set our project to folder sample and just go ahead and set that, it's going to ask, this is basically asking if you want to make that mel file. So do yes and say create default workspace, and it's going to add in that little mel file. Anywho, that is actually pretty much all you really need to do for this assignment. And I'm going to link that video about setting up sort of processing your image planes and all of that stuff. And let's see here. So I believe I asked for that assignment for a zip of your Maya project folder, including, again, your scene file in the scenes folder and all reference images in the source images folder. And just do a screenshot of your orthographic views in Maya, clearly displayed and showing all the image planes, just to make sure that they're set up properly. So this is worth 1 point. It's a fairly, hopefully, oops, get rid of that because that's literally asking you to zip stuff. But hopefully this is a pretty quick and easy project. It might not be a bad idea if you have some extra time to just sort of start blocking stuff in for your model. If you do want to do that, I'm glad to give you feedback on things as you go. It's just, you won't be graded on at this point, but it's, due next week, and, if you're going in the completely wrong direction, I can give you feedback earlier, which will save you time later. So anywho, that's pretty much project setup.